idol worship is worshiping something that you should not. That it's often a result of needing an explanation for something, needed some sort of way to explain your situation and reaching for an explanation that confirms your existing beliefs rather than challenging them. This is something that we've seen. One, it's in this week's Torah portion. That's the story of worshiping the golden calf. The Israelites are afraid that Moshe has gone away, and so they say they need a new way to explain their situation and to get them out of this situation. They build a calf and bow down to it, right? The latest example of needing an explanation that confirms one's existing perspectives is this idea that I've heard on the right and on the left, that the Jews, usually stated as Israel, controlled Donald Trump and led the U.S. into a war. On the right, you hear this from the Tucker Carlsons of this world. Chabad did it. And on the left, I saw a piece in the New York Times saying that Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel manipulated Donald Trump into doing this. Now, not a particular fan of President Trump, and I'm fairly skeptical about the idea that Pete Hegseth is a wise and steady hand at the Pentagon. And, of course, Trump himself is guilty of placing blame on groups he doesn't like, that sort of idolatrous sense of explaining the world through things that you don't like. He does it with the Somalis in particular and with immigrants in general. And at the same time, the idea that Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, manipulated Trump into doing this is modern golden calf worship. One, Trump has a long history of not giving a damn what others say, good or bad. And as far as I'm concerned, it usually plays out to the bad. But I don't think that he suddenly dropped that quality all of a sudden to go to war. That's just not who he is. And two, Israel is totally dependent on the United States militarily, diplomatically, politically, to a lesser extent financially. Bibi has alienated all of his friends in the world. All the world leaders are against him. He has one friend left in this world. Israel has no leverage in its relationship with the United States. It is totally dependent. The U.S. has all the leverage in this relationship. The idea that Trump, who is all about leverage and power and exploiting advantages in leverage and power, suddenly rolled over into a wildly weaker party, that a nation of 340 million people, the world's largest economy with the strongest military that the human race has ever seen, is taking orders from a nation of 10 million people who's a regional power but nothing more? That's magical thinking. That's bigoted. And it shows an anti-Semitic worldview that is little more than calf worship. Bigotry is the new idolatry, and it is alive and well. It's on the right and the left. We should see it for what it is. And in moments like this, there are a lot of aspects of this where I'm not going to discuss here, it's focusing on this one, but the idea that it's the Jews or that it's Israel that got the United States into this ignores too many realities and can only be the product of a pre-existing belief rather than a sober analysis of the facts, regardless of stray comments from the Secretary of State, regardless of some shared interests. See it for what it is. Shabbat Shalom, and may all those involved in this war safely come home. May it quickly and successfully be wrapped up, and may we know a world where all across the region, across the Middle East and in the United States, and all of our armed forces know more peace. Shabbat Shalom.